Welcome to Michael Cole Facebook Live. This is our 110th episode, and let me tell you tonight, this is one of my favorites in the whole wide world. Is to bring people that are just on ramping, brand new. They're still being incubated in one of the greatest, coolest schools in the whole freaking world, and you know what that is? That Summit Salon Academy in Anderson, Indiana. Our guest tonight is Trinity Muncie. And she's really in the house, and she's crushing it big time. We think she's ahead of her time. She's approaching the back end of school. You'll see as I qualify her, she's 20 years old, level 4 in the school. I got a little bet with Trinity too that she'll take it up to a notch before she leaves in June. That few people make that, and that's 4A. Average service ticket for a student in school, are you kidding me? $35. I mean, if you do the math on that, Darcy, it's $14 for a haircut. She's running at, almost 2.5 on a sticker rate. Like, that's big boom boom. So, referrals, she is trending. She'll probably do 100 referrals in her time in school, and that's right up there with, we got to call Guinness Book of World Records tonight to make that happen. Hey, Shannon, she's rebooking at 47%, RTS 22. I mean, she's firing on all cylinders, for goodness sake. So she's going to come in and tell you about her story. She graduates high school in 15, does a little bit of nursing school, signs up for Summit Salon Academy Anderson in 17, and she is trending to graduate in June. And then she's going to go work at the Clip Zone with my buds on the Clip Zone. You know what, Miss Nicole and Court and company. So you got to give it up for that too, guys. As I said, she's currently running at level 4, and I bet her a Starbucks Grande Latte that she's going to hit 4A. And what else do I want to tell you about her before we bring her on? She is a social media freaking Jedi ninja, man. She's hanging out iPhone 7 Plus. I mean, you duders out there that are still hanging out on 3s and 4s. She's a student, for goodness sake, and she's got the bomb. Running at 1,500 followers on her Instagram. Her handle is Trinity Muncie _. 100% of those referrals are Instagrammers. So she's tapped into a universe on that whole online community called Instagram. She's done like 61 referrals since September alone. So as I said, she's trending to do 100. The other thing I want to tell you about her is that in any given week, in school, she's doing like 15 guests a week. And out of the 15 guests, she's doing 8 photo shoots. So you guys figure it out. Just 1 out of every 2 of her guests are getting photo shoots. She takes about 4 pictures per shot. Every color guest gets a photo shoot. She's posting 10 to 12 times a week, puts it on her Instagram story, puts it on her Instagram feature. She's also hanging out on Snapchat. I'm going to ask her a little bit about that. Social media, as you'll see, is really now a part of her guest handling, the consultation, and she's now, if you ever hang out in her station, you're going to see all of her social media panels and handles on her mirror, because nobody leaves her chair without following her and her following them. So I've got her in the green room, and I'm going to call her out. We'll spend a little bit of time talking about her story. Her story is extraordinary, right? It's just a classic story, and then we'll get her to share a couple of her keys on best practices. So let's see if she's back there. I can go and find her. There she is. Give it up for Trinity, will you guys?
Hi.
How are
I'm
you? Did you hear me bragging on you?
I did.
This is a big night for you, girl. You got the world watching you.
I know.
Well, listen, I want before we go to work on your social media stuff, I just love your story and how you kind of wound up in Summit Salon Academy. So get us started. What was your life before Summit, and then how did you end up at Summit Salon Academy, Anderson, Indiana?
So I was born and raised in Anderson, Indiana. My parents were together. In 6th grade, they got a divorce, and that's kind of when things got a little rough. Me and my mom and my brothers, we kind of grew up really with nothing. My mom always pushed for a 4-year degree. Family always pushed for a 4-year degree, and that was just for me to set up to be successful. As I started to go through college, it just wasn't for me. I hated school. I didn't feel like I was benefiting from it, and so that's when I decided to come here.
I love it. So that's it. What I love about your story is that, you know, our parents a lot of times they're kind of focused on getting us to college. You did a little bit of time there, and you know, up until the time after, it was like, no, my calling is to be a hairdresser. So you pivot and you decide that you're going to go to Summit Salon Academy.
Exactly.
Well, you're at a place at Summit, Trinity, that frankly, the overwhelming majority of people that graduate, they don't get to the place that you're at in the place you're probably going to get to. So what everyone's really curious about is, like, what made the difference for you? What like turns you on? What drives you? What's your passion? Did you hear my question, Trinity?
Yeah. So I'm very blessed the way I grew up. I grew up with nothing, so I had to work for what I wanted. I feel like a lot of people's stories are their parents or their mom was in the beauty industry, and that kind of really wasn't for me. So it made me work. It made me appreciate everything. Goals are a big thing for me. After medical school, I come here, and I just love putting people before me, and I really get that satisfactory from doing their hair.
Yeah, and what I love about your story is there's a number of people that we've interviewed that kind of grew up the way you grew up and I grew up and a lot of us grow up, and that is you're in scarcity, and it's almost like I'm not really clear about what I want to be, but I know what I don't want to be. I want to go beyond the way I've been, and that's our passion, and I think that's what drives your soul too.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of people say, and they want to grow up to be just like their parents, and I'm so blessed to say that I'm not. I don't really want to grow up to be just like them. I'm thankful for everything that we've been through, and they've pushed me. They've shown me what not to do in life, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but it has motivated me to be where I am now.
So, you know, speaking of where I'm at now, you're at a place as just before graduation that many people don't get to, and if you continue this momentum, you're going to be in places in a year or so that is just going to be a lot of people don't get to in 30 years. So people watching tonight, or they're going to be watching this interview, are asking, how has this changed your life since you've been at Summit Salon Academy? What's it like to be Trinity now, and how is that different than the way it was even a year, 2 years ago?
Oh, it's amazing. I've never felt anything like it before. I wasn't very confident in myself, and coming here it has opened that up, and I'm so confident in my work now. I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, and you're like self-esteem, self-confidence, self-image, optimism on steroids, man. I mean, it's like you're crushing it big time. So what's next for you? Like, as you envision getting out of school and getting into the next era of your life, what's the blip on Trinity's radar?
So my next step is Clip Zone. I'll be there for a while under Devin York, and hopefully I will excel from there, and hopefully be on top and don't stop when I'm on the top.
When I was before I brought you on, Devin is actually on tonight, and she goes, "Trinity's my associate. She's going to be hanging with me." So really stoked about getting started with you.
Yes, I'm excited.
All right, so listen, we've got a couple minutes left, and I want to talk about Trinity's keys. You're really, I think you're crushing it on social media. I think you're a part of a culture, a community that is growing a clientele more, better, faster. You're going to probably leave the Summit Salon Academy with a full clientele. So, what are some keys that you're using? What's your first key?
The first step is consultation. Consultation is huge. I have put social media into my consultation. So I let them know we're going to take a before and after picture while I go mix up color or anything like that. I have them follow handles and they're written on my mirror.
Yeah, and I mean, when you and I were, I'm going to see if I can pull this up, if I can pull this off. You've got on your first key, you gave me a script. I mean, you actually now have this, and what you're saying is I bring the social media conversation in the chairside manner, but then you'll go, we're going to be taking some before and after pictures, and you got your panels on your mirror. And you were saying you're young, and I know social is going to be a huge part of your success. So it's like you brought that in as the number one theme on how you're building your clientele.
Exactly. Yeah, it's huge. I feel like my age and generation, that's all we're using is social media, and it's already made me successful.
I love it. You don't have to unlearn anything when you get out of school. What's your second key?
So I post before and after pictures. I also post them to my stories on Instagram and also on Snapchat and then Facebook. And then I also get my guest number and I send them their before and after pictures. I know I would like that as a guest, so I feel like that's super helpful to them.
Yeah, what you said there is so key. I want to make sure that our viewers get it. One is that you're doing before and after pictures, and you're making sure that every guest in some way, shape, or form, you're texting them, you're getting them the content, and I think that's become the latest, greatest, newest gift with purchase. It's like, what do they call it? Glamour shots on steroids, but it's for free, and I think that's what's driving you, right?
Right.
And the other is you're really beginning to take advantage of the video features on Instagram, specifically stories. I mean, I hang out on your page all the time. I just love what you're posting. But you also said you're starting to play with Snapchat. And Snapchat, talk just a little bit about what you're doing with Snapchat as it relates to branding yourself and developing your clientele.
So I love Snapchat filters. I'm constantly taking pictures of me and my clients, like in the mirror, while foils are in their hair, or just kind of being silly. I don't know. I feel like that builds trust, makes the client feel good. And then I'll also post like after pictures of the client, and I just feel like I have a lot of followers on Snapchat, so I feel like people my age are seeing the work on there as well.
Yeah, I love it. It's almost like Snapchat. You've got like two communities. You got a community on Snapchat, and then you got a community on Instagram, and then you now have a third community that are on both.
Right.
It's just amazing. You're like blazing trails that have virtually been non-existent. So I just love this conversation. Third and last key. You do some really cool stuff with Boomerang Video and what you're doing with hashtags and product. Talk a little bit about what that is.
Oh, yeah. I love boomerangs. I'm sure my school friends get annoyed with me for asking them to constantly take boomerangs of me. But I show like techniques with boomerangs. I put like product in my hair, just a bunch of different things just to switch it up a little bit.
No, I love it. Well, listen, we're just about out of time. I want to thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I think you're a vision of what's possible when students get focused. Now, I want to ask you one last question before I let you go, and that is, you're on the back end of your school ride. I mean, you're going to be getting out of this place in June, like in a month. But there's a whole bunch of students in Summit Salon Academies that are like, they're where you were 1,500 hours ago. I call it the room with no windows. You're kind of sequestered for 8 weeks, and they're like freaking out. It's like, WTF, what am I doing here? What might you say to them that gets them focused and has the kind of ride that you would have?
If you can make it through the 8 weeks of basic, get out on the floor. It's amazing. You get to explore all different things. Keep pushing. Don't set set goals. Don't set boundaries. Just keep going and excelling. And you can do anything you put your mind to. I
love it. Well, listen, thanks a lot for being with us. We're going to stay close to you and maybe have you on at the back end of the year, because then you would have been in, Clipstone for a few months, and you're I want you to just keep on booming it, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Trinity, will you guys? All right, listen, I got to go to work. I'll text you later.
All right, see ya.
All right, thanks, Trinity. Give it up for her one more time with you guys. I mean, it was just, I think she just did a phenomenal job. And I just want to just take a couple of minutes and recap, what her, what she brought to the table tonight. And that is, first and foremost, what she's doing in her guest and how many she's doing a week. But the keys are really what I think really brought it home. I mean, her story was phenomenal in so much that, like a lot of us, to grow up with struggle and adversity. And, she's like going to overcome her story. And that's what's fueling her. And now she's behind the chair. She's bringing social media into her chairside manner. It's part of the guest experience. She goes there in consultation. And she'll say, we're going to be taking before and after pics, uses the social panels on her mirror so that her guests can follow her immediately. And as she says, she's young, she's 20. And she's saying that social media is the mainstay for her. And then what else did she say? She also said that in her second key, she's taken the before and after pic and she's posting them on Instagram in the story feature now in video and as well as Snapchat, and that all of her guests get her content in either that evening or the next day, where she's texting all of the pictures to her guest. And then last but certainly not least, she's taking advantage of boomerang videos and using the new video features on Instagram. And she's doing product posts that are big. That's huge for her as well. So, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful interview. Give it up for her one more time. Looks like Valerie Muncie. I'm wondering. I bet that's mom watching. You got to be proud of your kids. The kids don't take after the neighbors, right? So anyway, if you're new hanging out with us, go ahead and go to Michael Cole Summit on Facebook and save that page, because this is really where we're doing the page of where we're doing all of our Facebook Lives. This is our 110th episode, and it continues to evolve. Hang out with me as well. I've got the same handle on Instagram as I do on Facebook. If you're a Summit Salon and you've been hanging out with us, we now have a social media coaching team. We can coach you virtually. We can coach any of your people in your salon that are struggling and you want to help them get caught up. You get a complimentary 1-hour consultation. Call Summit's 800 line and they'll make that happen for you. Also, if you're new to the movement, hang out on summitsalon.com. There's just a whole bunch of really cool free stuff there. If you hit the /MC Live after summitsalon.com, you'll see all of the videos that have been curated and edited there, where you don't have to go on YouTube and go on archaeological digs to find them. The Summit Salon Planner now has become almost the official social media tool. We use that to plan our social media practices and fill up our windows of time. We've got a brand new feature there called the mobile calculator page. We've taken all of the math out of it so you can set annual goals. It breaks it down to the day, magic day. And those of you that are hanging out on our training know all about that as well. We now have a free tracker that's all digital. I mean, these are all digital tools, gang, that we use on our mobile devices. So take advantage of them. So I always like ending with an expression of gratitude. These are our sponsors, L'Oreal PPD. Give it up for those guys, will you? They're just great people to hang out with. They've got, Redken, Purology, Matrix, L'Oreal Professional, Kerastase, Mazzani, it goes on and on. Baxter, the men's line, Essie on nails, Shoe, Upscale, and Premium. Also want to thank Salon Centric, State Beauty, and RDA, because these are the distribution arms of PPD. Do business with those guys. They're, anytime you are teaching people that you serve how to recreate your creations, and by doing what you do and using what you do, they benefit and we prosper, because the proceeds that they send us allow us to continue to do the work. So thank you, guys. And then last but not least, Summit Salon Business Center. They're really cool people. I was part of starting the movement, and now the movement is a movement. So if you're not in the Summit Salon community, ask your sales consultants to come in and do a complimentary scorecard. Have somebody from Summit tell you what that's about. We think it's the next era of your life. Trinity now is a student at a Summit Salon Academy. We've got a number of those around the country as well. So great show tonight. Next week, 111 surprise guest. I'm not going to give it away now, but I want to say thank you, and we'll see you next week.